Carl Jung once said, "I am not what happened to me, I am what I choose to become." This powerful phrase presents us with a choice. What will we do with the pain and trauma life has handed us? The central question, then, is, what will you do with what they did to you? How will that choice shape your life, define who you are, and who you might become? Jung's words don't ignore the reality of past experiences. They don't suggest pretending the pain didn't happen or downplaying the damage done. Instead, Jung challenges us to look at these experiences deeply, to take responsibility for how we'll integrate this pain into our personal growth. In this process, what matters isn't so much what happened, but rather how we choose to respond and the meaning we give to these events. This approach aligns with the essence of individuation, the journey toward an authentic self, guided by our own experiences, struggles, and aspirations, rather than by external expectations or societal pressures. Indeed, the question, "What will you do with what they did to you?" is far from trivial. It calls us to explore our shadow, the part of ourselves we keep hidden, containing our wounds, resentments, fears, and limitations. Jung believed that embracing and understanding our shadow is a critical step toward true freedom and fulfillment. It's not about erasing scars, but about recognizing them and giving them new meaning. This video delves into how our choices can transform pain into power, suffering into wisdom, and limitations into freedom. We'll explore how Jung's deep psychology teaches us to embrace and redefine the experiences that have shaped our lives and realize that, while we can't change what happened to us, we do have the power to decide how we respond and transform our story. After all, who are we if not the sum of our choices and the courage to face what has been done to us? For Carl Jung, emotional wounds are gateways into a rich yet shadowy inner world. When he speaks of choosing who to become, the path he suggests involves confronting, without excuses, the painful experiences we carry. In his view, authentic growth requires a direct encounter with what we avoid, repress, and deny. This journey is what he called individuation, the movement toward a deeper, truer identity, free from the mass society or family expectations impose. Jung described the human psyche as having multiple layers, with the personal unconscious and the collective unconscious operating in realms beyond our conscious awareness. The personal unconscious holds our individual experiences, memories, and traumas, what was done to us. Beyond this, however, is the collective unconscious, a kind of universal database of humanity, containing archetypes and universal symbols that shape our human experience. Here we find the archetype of the wounded hero, symbolizing the transformative journey that emerges from personal wounds. The wounded hero is a powerful image, reflecting how we all carry scars that, if integrated, can become sources of strength. For Jung, these personal traumas and challenges lead to the development of a more complex and resilient personality. The key to this transformation, he argues, lies in recognizing the shadow, a central concept in his psychology. The shadow consists of aspects of ourselves that we reject or deem unacceptable, whether due to cultural and moral influences or painful past experiences. By rejecting these elements, we cast into the shadow what could otherwise be a source of growth and understanding. In practice, this means that accepting our shadow and our wounds is essential to individuation, as only by bringing to consciousness what we repress can we redefine our suffering. It's not an easy process. Dealing with the shadow requires courage to face truths about ourselves and our experiences that we might prefer to hide. Yet, by confronting and transforming this pain, we take a definitive step toward inner freedom and the ability to become who we truly are. The idea of doing something with what was done to you translates into the willingness to view our wounds not as burdens, but as bridges to self-awareness. It's precisely through pain that the potential for healing and transformation arises, clearing the way for a person's full self to emerge and flourish. To illustrate the depth of what it means to do something with what was done to you, let's consider a fictional scenario that, in its simplicity, reveals the complexities of the journey of individuation and shadow integration. Imagine Anna, a woman who grew up in a rigid family, where showing emotions was seen as a weakness, and where there was constant pressure to achieve perfection. Over the years, Anna developed a controlling and demanding personality, always seeking approval from others and avoiding any sign of vulnerability. She grew up repressing feelings of inadequacy and anger, emotions she cast into her shadow, which then quietly began to shape her behavior. Constantly trying to please others, Anna lost touch with authentic parts of herself, unknowingly becoming a stranger to her own identity. Then, a pivotal event strikes, a painful breakup. This separation leaves her feeling lost, and for the first time, she is forced to confront loneliness and the sense of failure. Without the defenses of her persona, the social mask we construct, Anna feels she has nowhere left to hide. The breakup is not just the end of a relationship. It exposes the central wound that has always been present in her life, the fear of not being enough. In this moment of crisis, she has two choices. The first is to keep living as she always has, putting on a new mask to try to fill the void and stave off the pain. However, she knows this strategy has already failed her and won't bring the peace she's searching for. The second option, much more challenging, is to examine this wound, view it as an opportunity for growth, and seek answers about who she truly is. Anna decides to connect with what Jung would call her shadow, all those suppressed feelings and denied parts of herself that she's always avoided. This process isn't simple. By allowing the pain to surface, Anna also confronts the fear, anger, and sadness she carries. She realizes that this part of herself, previously avoided, holds a vital force. Instead of seeing the pain of separation as proof that something is wrong with her, Anna begins to view her suffering as an opportunity to re-examine her own beliefs and question the roots of her perfectionist demands. This journey of self-discovery helps her integrate her shadow, recognizing that feelings of imperfection and vulnerability are part of her humanity. By accepting these aspects as part of who she is, Anna begins to free herself from the need for approval and the burden of always appearing flawless. This marks the start of her true individuation, a path of self-compassion and honesty, leading her to a fuller, more authentic existence. On the individuation path, personal transformation depends on how we handle our wounds and traumas, often requiring a deeper dive into the shadow. The choice to confront or avoid pain directly impacts our ability to live fully and authentically. When Jung speaks about the need to integrate the shadow, he's suggesting a healing process that goes beyond the surface. He proposes that, to truly be free, we must embrace these denied aspects, gaining a richer understanding of ourselves in the process. In accepting our pain and the parts of the shadow it reveals, we gain access to a type of raw material for transformation. This material may include intense emotions like fear, sadness, anger, and shame, elements that, if repressed, drain our energy and obscure our true potential. Yet, by integrating them, these elements take on new meaning, transforming into sources of personal power. For Jung, this is essential to individuation, as it's only through the totality of our experiences that we become whole. Here, the concept of the collective unconscious is important. Jung describes this as a repository of experiences and archetypal patterns shared across humanity. Our wounds, then, are not just individual experiences. They resonate with universal stories and symbols, connecting us to the hero, the sage, the healer, and even the betrayer figures we all carry symbolically in our unconscious. These archetypes offer us perspective on our pains, showing that they're part of a larger human experience, one that transcends our individual self and situates us within a collective narrative of growth and resilience. Through this integration, we develop a sense of purpose and a deeper compassion for both ourselves and others. A person who undergoes this transformation can find value in their own pain, using it to understand and support those who suffer as well. This expanded empathy, born from accepting one's own shadow, is what Jung would call healing of the spirit. When we allow our wounds to teach and transform us, we begin to live authentically, no longer hiding behind masks or societal standards. So, doing something with what was done to us isn't about forgetting or blindly forgiving, but about transforming. Instead of remaining prisoners of our past, we have the chance to rewrite our role within it, turning ourselves into the active agent of our own lives. We arrive at a crucial point. What does it really mean to choose what to do with what was done to us? The answer lies in an inner transformation that begins when we take responsibility for our own healing and growth. Jung reminds us that we are not defined by the wounds we carry, but by how we integrate them into our individuation journey, thus choosing who we will become. By accepting our shadow, we embrace a path of self-compassion and courage. We let go of resentment, the need for approval, and external expectations, seeing our story with fresh eyes. In this way, a wound ceases to be merely a source of pain. It becomes a starting point for self-discovery and the development of an authentic identity. We transform suffering into wisdom and fear into courage, gaining strength through an honest relationship with our own vulnerability. This process, however, doesn't mean denying or forgetting the past, but learning to live differently with what it left behind. By integrating our difficult experiences, we move toward a fuller way of being, recognizing that pain also carries possibilities for growth. In this sense, doing something with what was done to you is an act of freedom and creation. This choice doesn't erase the past, but transforms how it shapes the present and future. By facing our wounds and integrating them, we give them new meaning. We come to understand that true healing is not the end of pain, but the ability to find in it a source of strength and wisdom. When we choose to do something with what was done to us, we discover a new version of ourselves, one defined not as a victim, but as the creator of their own journey. Jung believed that life demands from us the utmost courage and commitment to our own truth. And it is through this truth that we can find freedom, opening the way to a more whole and genuine existence. On the individuation journey, we are invited to look within and recognize the potential that has always been there, even in the darkest parts. Accepting and transforming what happened to us is not only an act of personal healing, but a choice to live fully. So, the question remains, what will you do with what was done to you? May this reflection inspire courage, acceptance, and the commitment to become who you truly are, transforming pain into a story of resilience and authenticity.